became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
All right, welcome everybody. So we have a really awesome event lined up for you, and it's brought by Real Estate IQ and Empower Capital. Just a quick intro about the host organization. Real Estate IQ is an intelligence company with a mission of helping one more person to win. And specifically, we like to focus on the deal finding and deal making process. One of the most popular products we have is the off-market motivated seller leads. One of the, I guess, the most popular out of those motivated seller leads is the pre-foreclosure leads, where the homeowner is extremely motivated to sell you the house or risk losing it at the upcoming foreclosure auctions. We also have many different types of lucrative motivated seller leads. We're not going to dive into that today, but if you're interested in taking action, and start marketing and getting these deals, go ahead and send us a message and we'll get you a demo. From a deal making standpoint, we understand that knowledge is one of the crucial steps in taking action, other than the act of taking action itself. So for that reason, we partner with expert speakers, and these are the practitioners who are actively doing deals every day. And our purpose is to get them to share the practical, up-to-date knowledge with you. And speaking of taking actions, one of our fan favorite workshops is our Fix and Flip workshop, where we go over 3 hours of in-depth content, stuff that you usually can't get into in a 1-hour session. And it's a highly sought after workshop with Q&A, questions and answer sessions. So you can really learn from over 20 years of fix and flip experience from our expert speaker, Leah Zachiri. Even one lesson is worth thousands of dollars, and we're happy to offer this workshop with you with instant access for you today. So all you need to do is to scan this QR code and take advantage of this. We actually have a promotion going on, and if you use, just write down this code called Early Bird 2025. It's all going to be capped when you enter the promo code, and you'll receive a $50 discount. So take advantage of that promotion. So next, in this workshop, right? So in the workshop, we actually talk a lot about partnership and mentorship, and why partnering is so important. And we find a lot of benefits from partnering. And we see it as one of the shortest paths to go from starting up to actively doing the deals. And that's why we're going to focus on this topic today, on mentorship and partnership. and how you can leverage both to scale and get the job done, get the deals. Let me introduce our speaker. She's having some technical difficulties right now to joining us. Brooke is a seasoned investor with a portfolio that includes passive investments in over 600 units and also sponsorship of over 481 units, so over 1,000 units here. And with 22 years of corporate experience and mentorship, and Brooke is joining us now. Brooke is dedicated to scaling her businesses and educating women and minorities about real estate investing. As the founder of Empower Capital, Brooke is an advocate for financial health, and we actually spent a lot of time talking about financial literacy and financial education for our community. And recently, she moved to North Dallas, and one of her favorite new food dishes is our Texas barbecue. And I agree, it's delicious. You just gotta watch how much you consume and not eat that every day. So, hey, Brooke. Oh, I see you. And Brooke, Brooke is muted right now, and we're gonna hear her quickly, shortly. She's working on that right now. Now, in the meantime, for anybody that has questions, or maybe you have had experience with partnership in real estate deals, go ahead and share that on the chat right now. Especially if you have questions, go ahead and share that. We'll have a Q&A portion where we will address some of these questions. So let's see, a couple of experience that I have had about a partnership is, you can have good partners, you can have bad partners. I think good partners can accelerate your execution speed, especially if it's somebody that has skill set that complements what you do. You genuinely like each other, and you can partner up really well. And obviously, with bad partners, when you have to kind of pull someone along, it can get very tiring. So I'm sure we'll be kind of addressing some of that today. Hey, Brooke, I think you were able to unmute. You got it.
Oh my, well, it wasn't the mute button that was a problem. My Windows Surface Pro, the battery went out right on the 3-year anniversary. How convenient, y'all. That went out. So then I had to quickly, switch to my daughter's Mac. StreamYard's not compatible with Mac. So then I had to download Chrome. And then I had to re-download the actual deck that I have for everybody for the mentorships and partnerships. So my sincerest apologies, you guys. It's 11:08. So I'll try to make up for time. So sorry.
Awesome. Glad you figured that out in short time, and you're able to present for us today.
Yes. So let me share my screen. Let's see if I can. So we'll do this. Give me a second. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see if I can just pull this up. Here it is. Let's hope that this is easier than me trying to download Chrome to a Mac. So can you guys see my screen?
We can now.
Beautiful. For some reason, I can't see anybody, but that's okay. Let me see if I can switch this where I'm presenting instead, so you're not seeing all this. All of the sides shuffle.
All right, you got it.
Okay.
All right, Brooke, take it away.
Is it actually showing the content right now?
Yes, we can see the content.
Okay, so you can just see the slides. Okay,
yes, we can see the slides.
Okay,
the stage is yours.
Anything but the slides. Okay, beautiful. So let's just get to it, y'all. I'm gonna have to shoot this blind, and then once this is gone, then I can see your guys' faces, right? So welcome. I'm just going to jump right into this. So today we are talking about mentorships and partnerships, finding, managing, and funding deals. Okay. So bottom line, first things first, you're here. Okay. 80% of success is just showing up. A lot of people don't follow through. They don't take time in their own self-education. So you are already in the top 8-10%, you guys, just by taking time out of your day to invest in the best and most valuable asset there is, and that is you, okay? So get the edge over others who hesitate, quit, hum and haw, get stuck in analysis paralysis, and take the information you're going to learn today and execute. So welcome and congratulations. So I will be introducing myself, but first I want to put some thoughts into your head, okay? What are you currently missing out on? Okay, I mean, are you in a demanding corporate job? I mean, I did 22 years sales and marketing and corporate sales, and I felt like I had golden handcuffs. From the outside, everything looked great. You have the company card and you're traveling, you're making 6 figures, and you're just looking like a boss to the outside people. But inside, you're dying inside and you feel like you're missing out on all of the events from your kids, right? You're only allowed to take a few weeks annually of trips and vacations to celebrate the special moments in your lives. There's pros and cons of having W-2s, and we will speak with that or speak on that. Maybe you're not spending as much time with your family, right? So this is an investing community. My understanding is some of you are in your early stages of investing. You may be wholesalers, you may be flippers. And bottom line, why are you doing this? And I think you all can agree that it's for freedom, right? Money is the tool, freedom is the goal. We want to be with who we want to be with, when we want to be with, where we want to be at, and have autonomy and control of our own lives. And investing in general, for me, I'm in multifamily and triple net, it will get you there. So really quick, I have the picture of Greece right there. One day I will be there with my family. I want to travel, you know, and then here's my family, me and my husband and our 4 daughters. We are a blended family. And because I have 4 daughters of color, I want them to see that anything is possible. Do not let what you feel are your hiccups and setbacks prohibit you from taking the world by storm, because that's actually what's going to propel you. Okay. So who am I? Why should you even care what I have to say? Glad you asked. So my name is Brooks Ceballos Pinheiro. I am the founder of Empower Capital. I have a publishing company, Voice Publishing, and a multifamily mentorship, Multifamily Momentum. I believe you were already advised of what I'm currently in at the moment, from flipping houses to fund some of these projects, which is a lot of work. I now realize multifamily is a lot easier, you guys. I don't know how they do it. And so I'm not going to read the slides here or whatnot. I think you're kind of caught up on who I am. And if you have more questions, just ask, okay? I'm an open book. So because this is about mentorships and partnerships, which is how you find and manage and fund the deals, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. All of these people here are my partners in some way, shape, or form. And I was introduced or met them through masterminds and mentorships, paid mentorships, because let's keep it real, you guys. This is a pay-to-play game. I don't care if you're a multifamily. I don't care if you're a flipper, you're in triple net, you're in storage, you're in mobile homes. You need to pay to be in the rooms with the people that have the money, that are serious about this, and that they are taking daily consistent action regardless of how they feel that day. So make sure you are doing a check on the environment that you are in, because if you were a big fish in a small pond, you're not going to go too far. Expand. And remember, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So here's a few of my phenomenal partners that I love and adore, that I do business with, all for mentorships and masterminds. So let's pause. Why a mentor? You know what, Brooke? There's so many people out here claiming to be an expert. He's an expert. She's an expert. Like, you know, who do I trust? Who do I want to mentor me? Well, let's take a pause, because that's all on you. What are your goals? What do you want to do? Who is somebody that you look up to that you're like, man, you get that kind of gut feeling, you know, that your heart kind of pulls towards them, like, man, they're cool. I like this. Well, for me, my first mentor, my first paid mentor was Grant Cardone. I was listening to his book and I was in my car and I commuted a lot because I was in corporate and I had 15 locations. And And he just resonated with me because he is direct, no BS. Take it or leave it. This is what it is, and would be entertaining while having facts and data. And I thrive off that. I don't like people sugarcoating things to me, but be professional, right? So here is pictures. All of these people are my mentors, except for Hal Elrod. I would not have met him had it not been for my mentor, Michael Blanc. So my first mentor was Grant Cardone, Michael Blanc. Rachel Rogers is a business coach and the author of We Should All Be Billionaires. My flipping coach, which I recently got into, is Tommy Jones. Brad Sumrock is one of my mentors, Vina Jetty. And here is my daughter here, who also is in the business. And that's probably for a whole nother conversation down the road. Get your kids in the business, y'all. So they offer personalized guidance. So I've only been doing this since 2021. There's no way I could have over 1,000 units and triple nets and having a publishing company and having all these phenomenal people had I not been in the right rooms with the right people. They help not cut corners, but let's just put it out there. There are no shortcuts in business other than a mentorship. They held my hand and said, Brooke, this is what you're going to do. This is why you're going to do this. They gave me personalized attention when I started taking action on what I should do, what I should not do. They would check in with me like, Brooke, did you do this? You said you would do this. So you have an accountability partner. And the biggest, best, baddest thing that I love about mentorships and masterminds, y'all, are the people. The conversations are different. You don't have people complaining coulda, woulda, shoulda, giving up on their dreams a long time ago. It's not, why are you doing this? It's, how can we do this? How can we help you? What resources do you need? And it's phenomenal, okay? So you need to get a mentor that lands and resonates with you. How do you do that? Listen to podcasts. First of all, let me stop for a second, because I know I can go on a tangent and squirrel and lose focus. What do you want? What is your goal? Who is out there right now doing that? Buy their books, listen to their podcasts. Do they have a mentorship? Are they speaking at an event? Know your goals, find that person that lands with you, and soak it all in. Because honestly, where can you be at? Think about this. If you had a mentor and you had a phenomenal network and community that had your back, that when you fell, they picked you up, dusted your shoulders off, maybe swatted you on your ass. That's my husband. Keep your hands to yourself, y'all. But everybody else, they dust your shoulders off and they tell you, Brooke, you know, it's gonna be okay. You got this, Steve, it's gonna be okay. I know somebody. So where can you be in 1, 3, and 5 years? And this goes back to you guys knowing your goals. Write down your goals, and you need to know and reverse engineer it, right? So for me, when I started this, I knew I wanted to start as a passive investor first so I can know the ins and outs, because I was brand new in 2021. I had never done real estate other than purchasing my home when I was living in California. However, having a background of sales, marketing, and negotiations for over 22 years, this was just another product that I had to learn and execute and acquire and develop. Every single one of you guys has something in your repertoire of your history that you have the ability to use to put it towards multifamily if that's your goal. That's my forte. So you're going to hear me talking a lot about that. Triple net is phenomenal for a passive investment because there's really no operations, right? So reverse engineer your goal. So when I started, I looked at my bills and my debt, okay? I trimmed the fat. I looked at my Apple Card, realized I was paying over $800 in subscriptions. I was like, okay, let's scratch that. And that money I was paying in subscriptions, I would put it in a high yield savings account, knowing that I was going to continue to use that to invest and put more money into mentorships and masterminds to educate myself in different styles and grow my network of investors and partners. Because every single person I am partnered with, I met at a paid mastermind. And we are also investors with each other as well. So know what you want, write down your goals, trim the fat, and execute. And I know these mentorships are expensive, you guys. I know Grant's was 25,000, it's probably more now, 25,000 for the first year. Michael Blanc has one that's $99 a month when I started a few years ago. Or you can pay him, I want to say it's about 25 grand, and they walk your hand to closing your first deal, and they partner with you on that. I don't know if that's still going on. Brad Selmrock, I think, was 25,000 as well. And people are like, holy crap, Brooke, how the hell were you even able to afford to pay all of these? Well, one, I bet on myself, first of all. When I put my mind to something, I have faith in me, one. Two, I was leaving another corporate job, and I was getting money from that 401k, and I had money in savings. So bottom line, you guys, I wiped out all of my 401k. I wiped out all of my savings. I literally went for broke. And I survived off my salary in corporate, but all my commissions went into negotiations, tours, and mentorships and masterminds. Bottom line, where there's a will, there's a way. I will save how you can pay for some of these, or mentorships, maybe a little bit down the road. If you have questions on that, we'll bring that up, okay? So I kind of touched base on this, how to find the right mentor. Look within your industry, talk to other people. Hey, Steve, I see you're doing XYZ. How did you get into this? What do you like? What do you not like? And then go from there and take calculated strategic action based off of that. But first, listen to their books, their podcasts, etc., and see if their delivery works for you. Because some people may not like my delivery. I'm kind of a high energy, no BS. I sometimes swear. And people are like, oh my gosh, Brooke, like I would like you if you would stop saying different swear words occasionally. It's like, well, then you're not my tribe. You will find your tribe, okay? So follow people. Paid mentorships, don't think because you pay that a lot of money that you get more value from it. If I'm being super transparent, for me, being a part of Michael Blanc's mentorship, I got the most value from Michael Blanc, and I was only paying $99 a month. And I loved that community so much. I'm still a part of that community, that I started doing Michael Blanc's YouTube videos and interviewing people who closed their first deal. And I got to be a speaker for Michael Blanc. And then I got to help host different events for Michael Blanc. His community is phenomenal because you have all walks of life and people are there truly to give. And Michael tells you what to do on a day-to-day basis. Grant is good, but he's a phenomenal cheerleader, and him, along with some other mentors, are wonderful at getting the deal, raising capital, but the real work comes after you acquire the asset, and all operators know this. So I get really frustrated when I see on socials and different people marketing the glitz and glamour of multifamily and raising capital, and then they don't discuss property management or asset management, because that is why so many of these deals out there are failing right now, okay? And we're gonna get into that. I will touch on how to approach a potential potential mentor really quick, in case you're listening and not watching and seeing the slides that are up here. Be specific. Don't just go to someone, I want you to be my mentor, unless they're offering a paid mentorship, okay? Just kind of say, I admire XYZ about you. I am looking for assistance here, or provide them a story. And people will love to be experts at something, right? It makes us feel good to contribute and give back. Keep it short, respect their time. Time is a valuable asset. Do not come up to people not knowing what you want, humming and hawing and lollygagging and sorry, not sorry. Be direct, concise, know what you want, and know the value that you bring if you are trying to partner with somebody. Don't ever come up to somebody and say, hey, do you need help? Put me wherever you need me, and I'll just, fly by the seat of my pants. No, know the value that you bring. Don't give operators homework, right, to figure out what you'd be good at. Because if you don't even know what you're good at or the value that you bring, how do you expect somebody else to? So offer value, bond with that person, maybe show up where they're at, and ask genuine questions from a servant mentality. Get no takers allowed, okay? Too many people out there take, and they don't provide any value. Stop the madness, okay? So, I love this line, and I tell this to people all the time. So business partnerships is a marriage. It is not a one-night stand, you guys. Like when I see cattle calls, hey y'all, who wants to partner with me? I just need 200,000 in equity and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You could be an equity raiser, blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, let me pause. That's illegal. You cannot partner with somebody, and I get it. It's so rampant out there right now. You cannot just come into a partnership bringing equity unless you're a passive investor. Okay. So when you see some of these deals with 10, 12 people, I'm a little scared for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, because in the beginning of my journey, I didn't know. And we were doing the same thing. Hey, if they got money, let's all partner and we all share. However, when you bring people in, they need to have a defined role and responsibility. And yes, as operators, have some of your own money in there, have some skin in the game, because if I'm going down, you're going down. We are all going down on this shit together. You understand? So date people. Well, what does that mean, Brooke? Well, go out to dinner with them. All of my partners I've known for approximately 5 years. We're a part of the same mentorships and masterminds. We've had meals together. I know most of their family. Some of them I've been to their homes. Picking me up at the airport, we tour, we walk, we speak consistently. Unfortunately, I know social media makes it sound like it's so easy to raise money on social media. I mean, maybe if you're the Michael Blanc and the Grant Cardones of the world, great. I have never had success doing that. All of my investors come from referrals and from my mentorships and masterminds and events that I attend. So how do you know if somebody's a good partner? They need to be aligned with your mission, vision, and values. And I always suggest you go have a meal with them. Go to a restaurant. I want to make sure that my partners treat a waiter well. If you're being an a-hole to the waiter, I'm kind of turned off by you. That shows me your character. I've always been brought up that you treat the CEO the same way you do the janitor. Okay? I want a good human being, because when shit hits the fan, and it will, you guys, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Okay? You need solid people that are going to do the right thing by you, your investors, and your business plan. Point blank. I would rather lose money or break even than my investors lose money. And if they're not serious about that and they're taking partnerships light, run away. It's a red flag. So when you're vetting partners or you're vetting investments, look at the operational team. Have they gone full cycle? Have they worked together? Okay. What is their communication style? Do they have investors that you can interview? Because a big mistake I made in the beginning of my journey is I wanted to bring up everybody else with me. Oh, she's cool. Oh, he's cool. Okay, well, you got money. You work for a bank. I'm in acquisitions. We're going to make this happen. Well, where that went sour, that I have tons of horror stories, I won't go there right now, is that it was like the blind leading the blind. We weren't educated. We were all learning together, scratching up this mountain, being mentored and failing and losing thousands of dollars all over the place. Finally, after waking up 18 months later, I was able to close my first deal because my partners were 20 years, 30 years ahead of me. So you need to leverage that partnership. Make sure that they have what you lack, okay? We don't need 20 property managers. We don't need 20 people handling investors, okay? Unless you're just a massive firm like Blackstone or something, okay? So make sure they are transparent. Make sure your visions and morals and ethics are aligned. One thing that we did, let me keep an eye on the time here, it's 11:28, okay, that I love in the Brad Sumrock community, we went to Atlanta and we did a Jesse Itzler boot camp. And at first I was like, okay, I get it. Let's see the mental toughness of people. And it actually was eye-opening for me because I saw people that were so quick to throw in the towel. And I'm telling you guys, it was like a major boot camp in Atlanta in December, in the winter. It's rainy, it's muddy. And I had myself, and gosh, I forgot the gentleman's name who was with the whole time. Great guy out of Atlanta. I'm so sorry if he ever sees this. Him and I were partners, and we're in jeans and shirts, push-ups, doing all of these things, and people would quit. And then we were combating our fears, zip lining, all this scary stuff. But then my point is, I started seeing people that quit when things got hard, or they complained, or they made excuses, or, oh my God, no, I'm not doing this. Or, oh my God, I'm not doing this. Or they would just hide out. Do not partner with people who that give up quickly, that don't have some type of mental toughness, that just throw in the towel and they're only there when it's easy. This is very important, you guys, because I have personally experienced that. So I'm gonna kind of pivot a little bit here. So entrepreneurs and just people in general that have received mentorship have over an 83% of success rate in comparison of 16% that don't. And I wholeheartedly believe that, because you guys can Google everything, you guys can YouTube everything, but everybody is an expert. Who's ethical? Anybody can sit here and put on a happy face and smile and, oh my God, listen to me, buy my book, buy my mentorship program. But have you interviewed the people who are actually working with them? The devil is in the detail. Find somebody who you look up to, interview the people who are part of their program and their investors, and decide from there. Again, your only competition is yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people's success, okay? Because when I started, because finding deals, right? All these people were finding deals, okay? And I'm like, well, when is it my turn? And so you kind of get like, man, I'm busting my tail every day. When is it going to be my turn to do this? But if you lead with value and you're showing up consistently, people are going to notice and they're going to take you seriously. And that is when actually one of my previous partners came to me, saw me struggling, and brought me into his deal where I was actually able to close this, one of our assets. So I do want to make sure I'm answering also, how do you find these deals? So when you are looking for deals, first, this is a relationship game, okay? Most of us are getting deals because we sign up for Walker & Dunlap or Colliers International, Berkadia, who else is there? There's CBRE. When you go on their sites, you can sign up for their newsletters, one, not the newsletters, but the actual asset. You will fill out your information, you'll sign an NDA, it's standard, and you get to be part of their mailing list. So now all of these brokers are emailing you these deals constantly, okay? You are gonna do your underwriting, and then you're going to tour with these brokers and build the relationship. The moment you close a deal with them and they know you're a closer, continue to work with them, and they will also take you more seriously. It's usually wise to have a great, excellent relationship with one broker per area that you're working at. That way the loyalty is there. And also when it comes to sell that deal, it's kind of an underlying thing that you'll use that same broker. So finding deals, go sign in to all of the brokers, CBRE, Marcus & Millichap, Walker & Dunlap, Colliers, Berkadia. There's a ton of them in commercial real estate. Download even one of the assets, sign the NDA, you're gonna be on the email list. You'll get bombarded, I promise. And then start nurturing those relationships, show up with these mentors, tour it, and then with the brokers, and let them know what you're looking for, okay? Let me see, I know I wanted to make sure about managing deals. Okay, so managing deals as well is gonna be part of the mentorship, the mastermind. You're gonna have a property management or an asset manager. Big shout out to Cecilia Casio, 30 years experience. She's managed 10,000 units. That's my partner for asset management. Do not buy an asset and hire a property manager and put your hands up, because now your business plan is going to fail. I'm so tired of seeing operators buying multifamily. They get their property management and their acquisition fees at the sale, at the close, put a property manager in place, and they walk away and dump it on him or her. Your property manager is an asset and an extension of your team. It is their job to execute your business plan, and you should be having weekly calls with them when you're kind of stabilizing them, maybe once every couple weeks, and showing up to the asset, okay? So I know I'm going very quickly. I apologize. I'm trying to make up for lost time here. But so what do you do now? What now, Brooke? This is great. You data dumped a whole bunch of stuff on me. So now what do I do? Now I want you to identify some mentors, because if you're serious about scaling your business, or if you want to be a multifamily, you know what your goal is, find a mentor and identify 2 to 3 mentors, engage with their content, okay? We kind of already discussed this already. However, write down your goals, know what you want, find people that are aligned with your goals, that connect with you, and start engaging in their content, okay? Start engaging with them and showing up where they are. Yeah, you can DM them on social media, but honestly, people get slammed with DMs and half the time it's spam. And nobody's really going to pay it too much of attention. Let's see something. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the last slide, you guys. What time? 11:34. Okay, am I good, Steve? So the rest of your life starts today, you guys. I know I put so much information out to you. I do hope you found it valuable, and I would love questions and answers because I am here for you. And this really would not be a success if I have not given you action steps and things for you to start doing today. So really quick, in case you are listening, my Instagram is probably the social I'm the most active on. That's Brooklyn, BROOKLYNN 0719. If you want to email me, it's info@empowercapital.org. And then, of course, my website is just brookecpanero.com. So I'm going to pause and take a breath. I'm sure your head is spinning. Are there any questions or concerns? And I'm going to stop sharing just because I don't see anybody but my wall. So I would love to see Steve's face again.
Yeah, Brooke, tons of questions.
Beautiful.
So really, really awesome. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
We have a question from Justin. What's your number one strategy for finding good deals?
Right now, you guys, the market is tough. My number one strategy right now is connecting with the brokers that I have relationships with. So whenever I have a deal, even if it doesn't pencil out, I have a reminder not only on my planner, because I plan out every day and I write everything down and I have alarms. Every couple of weeks, I check in with my brokers. So right now I'm focused in Dallas. And so I sent them a message. Hey, Bougie, that's one of the nicknames, one of the brokers. How are you doing? Are we finding anything around 5 million? Because now I'm kind of going back to basics because my goal this year is ownership, okay? Less people involved because it only really takes maybe 3 to 5 people to run a deal, okay, on a smaller level. And so it's relationship heavy. So what I'm doing to find these deals is nurturing the brokers. I am also changing my underwriting and I know my buy box. So if in fact you want something that's a light value add, you need to know what you want. So it's for me, we like B assets. So we want a B asset right now. We want something that's a light value add, no heavy renovations, and that is cash flowing day one without doing anything to the asset with a minimum of 25% ownership for myself and 2 other of our partners, okay? So that's I hope I answered your question. I know sometimes I get distracted, but it's just nourishing the relationships and then speaking with people in the communities, because when you're in mentorships and masterminds, people will go for deals and they'll say, hey, we have a deal, but it's not working out for us. Or I will shoot out a message. I am looking for 32 to 58 units with a 5 million cap. I need it to be cash flowing a minimum of $6,000 prior to any renovations. I do not want any short-term rentals in here. I don't want Section 8, or maybe you do. Shoot that message out. Be active in the communities. And now a lot of people will say, okay, well, I know this person, and they'll connect you. So this is a relationship-based business, you guys.
And Brooke, tell us about, you mentioned B property. Can you tell us about the different classes?
Yes, of course. So, and I have A assets. Those are more with Grant, because I was a passive investor with Grant. So a beautiful area, let's say that there's really nothing to do. There's no meat on the bone. This might be your super professionals. They might be C-suite. They might just be over 6 figures. You know, it's very nice. There's nothing to remodel. You're essentially just going in and buying a profiting business. Whole Foods is down the street. Maybe Starbucks is there. It is just like the perfect walkable for everything. And it's gorgeous. Okay. Like there's nothing that needs to be done. Right. And then you have your B class, where you probably is in an A location. You still want to be near, Starbucks is a great company to follow, you guys, because they spend millions of dollars of tracking traffic of where they go. And that's usually done by SIM cards, one-way rentals from U-Hauls, and they look at the growth. Who's being built there? Is Tesla building? Is Microsoft building? Is Amazon coming there? And then Starbucks, because of their marketing perspective and efforts and stocking, they will put their coffee shops there. So definitely follow the Starbucks, right? So B is kind of maybe your blue class workers. You might have, they're making maybe a little under 100K, or they're making over 100K, but they're a single guy, right? They're a single woman. And they don't have all of the full amenities, maybe, but it is clean, it is cozy, and it's still a great location. Then you have your C, which may be, Section 8, they may be people who are not as financially strong. And there are some people that are financially strong, they just don't make good decisions, you guys. And it might not be near the greatest side of the area. It might be near some railroad tracks. There might be a liquor store down the street. It's just not something that, that some people, they may want to live at, and they may not, so let me pause. I can't tell if the coffee's coming or going at this point. So A classes are beautiful, and they have a lower cap rate. And I try not to go into cap rates too much because they're very subjective. However, a cap rate or capitalization rate is, the lower the rate, the better and more profiting the asset, but it's also a lower risk, right? So A is beautiful. B is in the middle. C is kind of a lower end neighborhood. I like B because when A people lose their jobs, like what is happening right now, a lot of layoffs are happening, they go down to a B asset. And when the C people start doing better, they move up. So for us, it's a great in the middle play.
And we have another question about cash flow benefit of cheap debt. I don't know if there's still cheap debt these days. What kind of interest rate are you looking at?
Okay. So what kind of cash flow?
And cheap debt, and if it's overpriced. Cheap debt and overpriced.
So there's no such thing as cheap debt right now unless you're assuming the debt. Okay, so if you were going, like for example, me and my partner were looking at a asset in downtown Dallas, and the debt was still on there for an additional 7 years at 3.25%. So that made sense because right now you're looking at 6 to 7%. If you just do, the standard rate. And even if you decided, oh, well, I'm going to do an interest only or a buy down where it allows you to, well, like some loan people are making you pay insurance on here for, interest only rates. So everything is overpriced right now. And that's the way it is. Everybody is selling on pro forma, which is a trend. And that's it. And you need to look at the T12 and the rent roll. You need to buy as is. And again, that's all that matters, because we looked at something and they're selling it for $4.8 million. And when we underwrote it, it is only penciling out to 3.1. And part of it is because they feel it's at 100% occupancy. And it's in a phenomenal neighborhood in Dallas. But what is really messed up is the fact that, and a lot of people are, I don't want to say lying because that sounds really bad, but they're kind of moving clams around a little bit and smoke and mirrors. So for this asset, there was 2 short-term rentals and it was an 18-month contract with this guy. So you can't even rent or touch those rentals. And then 2 are a Section 8, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you can put these to market rents. Oh, and you can do this. And then you can just bump this up and do all of these things. Well, it's a 3-story asset with no elevators. So people are it's going to be a young professional and so on and so forth. And bottom line, know your underwriting and don't deter. Right now, we are underwriting deals at 85% occupancy, just because across DFW and Dallas, that's the standard, you guys. Stop underwriting stuff on pro forma, underwrite on what is. So we run to do 85% occupancy. We do anywhere between 52 to 55% debt. And then we will also look at the average cap rate, because that is going to help your exit strategy. I know that was a really long answer and I apologize, but let me know if I answered that or not.
We got another one about funding. Looking to buy triplex and I don't want to put down 25%. Any suggestion on funding that?
So if you do, okay, so for me, I started flipping it is because I have investors. So these flips, I have investors that are funding these flips because the returns are higher. We are actually giving them about 18 to 20% in 6 to 9 months on these flips. And what does that mean for you? If you do not have investors, you're now going to have to take on a bridge debt. You're going to have to take on a loan at 11, 12, whatever percent that it is. And then you're going to have to pay that back. I know my loan people, they require for doing a bridge loan to cover the gap of equity and debt or whatnot over 2 years. Okay. But if you are just now, have this triplex and I have no money, most people are going to tell you go to friends and family first. I did not do that because I did not want to damage any relationships while I was still learning on the come up. However, if you have investors, great. You're going to tell them, hey, y'all, I'm doing X, Y, Z. And I get it. If you decide that, okay, so let me pause. You don't want to do 25% for the down payment. Then you need to find a partner maybe who is further along than you and share the profits that you can leverage their expertise for an investor to want to work with you. If you have not grown your investor database because you have not been to some of these meetups or shown up to places. So now you're on your own. And here's the thing. When you guys are flippers and you're buying residential, which is under 5 units, that is something that people are used to doing alone, and that's great. But as you need more investors and more equity, it is a team playing game, and you have to stop getting out of the silo, and you need to expand your options to a partnership, which means you will be sharing operations and cash flow and money, because there's really no way to slice that. You're either paying that by yourself or you're partnering with somebody else, and you're working a deal out, whether it's cash flow or ownership, for it to be worth their time and their money. I hope that answered your question.
So Brooke, how do you get more investors and partners aside from, you mentioned mastermind? What are some other best practices that you do?
So if in fact you do not want to pay for mentorships and masterminds, you can go to meetups. For me, I feel it takes longer hearing from other people complaining about it because you don't know how serious they are. Some people, the second something gets hard, they throw in the towel. If you don't want to pay for the mentorships and masterminds, also, so let me pause. Go to the meetup, meetup.com, what else? Eventbrite. Start showing up to some of these meetings for free. I know so many operators that have Zooms constantly that educate you. Show your face, be engaged, find out where they are, post and share your content on the chat, and then also ask for referrals. But here's the cold, hard truth. If you're brand new and you're trying to now get investors, you want people to trust you, best of luck to you. You need to go to your friends and family, and they might still see you as a snot-nosed little kid, because that was my problem in the beginning. I didn't have liquidity in the bank. I had not gone full cycle, and I did not have investors for people to interview. So if that is you and you're looking for investors, then you better partner with somebody ahead of you by showing up to one of these free meetups. But again, date them, spend time with them. You don't just know somebody, overnight throw money at you. Like usually it takes an average, they usually say like a year, unless you're somebody who's really big in the space putting themselves out there, because now we can take you down if you do us dirty.
Yeah, I wanted to also kind of comment on free events versus pay events.
Correct.
I would say that, free events are very easy to get to. You don't have to put any money out. But I find that the quality of people that show up at the paid events are higher. And I think we talked about this at coffee last time.
Yes, sir.
That there are folks that are serious. We kind of avoid the free event. We prefer to go to the pay event because we want to meet with the serious people. So that's something to kind of consider, and maybe it's just kind of budgeting that out and making sure that, like, hey, because you gotta show up consistently also.
That part. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because too many people, there are people that started back when I started, and now they're nowhere to be found. And if you want to be a voice in the space, the free options start on social media, documenting your journey, you guys. Hey, you guys, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And if you're consistently putting yourself out there, because you're choosing what you put on social media, and I love it or hate it, you know, it is a free marketing tool. And if you're consistent and people see that you're showing up everywhere and you're putting out the content to educate as a voice in the space, they're going to trust you more. But if you're not showing up consistently, you're not putting yourself out there, and I get it. It is so scary to put yourself out there. You're putting yourself up for criticism and all of the things, but then that tells us that you're really not serious. Fail forward, okay? Don't hide.
So Vincent is asking, there's a limitation for partners in GP deals.
So are you, it must be a syndication to do that. Is this the question that you have up in the front of the screen? Okay.
Yeah. Can the general partner be an LLC that has multiple individuals, or does it need to be a syndicate in order to do that?
To do that. So a syndication is simply a group of people who come together to acquire, you know, in this purpose, real estate assets, something that I could not buy on my own. And so I started out as, you know, in acquisitions and syndication. So, and yes, you can get an LLC, okay, but just let's keep it. So let me, and I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, all of these things, okay, but I have investors that, like, one's an international investor, but he lives in California, and he represents the LLC. It is his name on the LLC, and he's an American citizen. However, the rest of his family is in Mexico. Okay, but the LLC is American, and there's rules to that. I'm not going to go into it, so I'm not educated on it. So you can represent, and you will represent, all of my investments are as an LLC. So I'm investing under Empower Capital, and every asset has its own LLC, because this protects you legally when you do this. Anytime you acquire an asset, the first call that you should be making is to your SEC attorney. If you don't know one, ask for a referral. Start following people online. If you follow me on social, I speak a lot about Nick McGrew. Nick McGrew is a phenomenal SEC attorney. Mauricio Raul, phenomenal SEC attorney. I know them both personally. So one, yes, you can have a general, most of them are under LLCs, okay? If you look on the operating agreements, every operator is operating underneath an LLC for that extra layer of protection. None of my investments are underneath my name, because the name of the game is own nothing, control everything, okay? Because if somebody comes and sues me and you run and you look at my name, I don't got anything. Right? And that's a whole nother topic. But, and no, it's because, can it be in multiple individuals? Yes, it can be multiple individuals. It usually is. And my limitation for partners in GP deals goes back, and this was a problem for me in the beginning, and it took me time, because I made the same mistake, is you're so happy that you're a part of a deal. And then you're looking at the operators and you're like, holy crap, why do we have like 13 people as GPs on here? This is stupid. Well, it's because people tend to bring people in as syndicators, but then they're not giving them defined roles and responsibilities, which per SEC law is illegal. And if you come back to get audited, you're going to be in a world of hurt, and now we're all going to get hurt. Okay. So technically the average deal needs only approximately 3 to 5 people, maybe 7, give or take. If you're only going to bring in people as a capital raiser, it's usually better to have them as LPs, or just show them kind of the way, right? So I don't want to get too deep in that, because I'm not an SEC attorney, but just that's my goal of this year. Less partners for equal ownership, and of course, along with travel and health. I hope I answered your question.
Talking about deals and deal structure, here's a really good question. How do you kind of split based on the deal finder, right? You got the operator managing the business, and then you got capital partner. What's a good kind of deal structure?
Okay, so any deal structure you agree to is a good deal structure, you guys, okay? There is no right deal structure. There's not. It's one that everybody agrees to. However, after saying that, for example, I'll give you one of our deal structures. So we have a key partner, which is known as a KP. They signed on the debt because they had the liquidity, right? So when you go for debt and you're acquiring, a lot of the times they want a DSCR, like a debt service coverage ratio of 1.25, 1.25 is the average. What does that mean? Well, you need to have enough cash flow that pays at least the debt, right? Plus 25% extra cash flow just in case, and have that waiver. So say someone is only coming in to be the financial person. They just have the money in the bank. That person on average gets 10%, okay? And then depending on the operations, you know, some of our deals have it where, okay, well, they're property management, and they have their own property management company, so they're getting 1% or 1.5% of the annual profits that are coming in for managing the asset. And again, y'all, it's different for everywhere. I've seen some people charge 0.5. I've seen some property management at 2%. Usually the less amount of units, the higher it is. The higher amount of units, the lesser it is because the cash flow is higher, right? So, and then you have the overall split between the operators and the passive investors, okay? So the most common we have across our deals is 80-20, and I'll explain these. 80-20, 70-30. My triple net is a 90-10, and triple net's a little different from multifamily because there's really no operational overhead, okay? So what that means is for our deals that are, you know, 70-30, 70% of the cash flow is going to myself, the operator. So that's going to my property management guy. We have an operations guy. We have a marketing people. There's only like so many roles that you can have, right? And so then you have somebody that is ahead that is responsible, and we split all of that equally. But then the investors who funded the equity and funded property management and asset management fees or any type of CapEx, which are heavy remodeling, they're getting 30%. Okay, so it's got a 70-30 thing. So right now, let me tell you what we're doing right now, because some of the deals that I did in the past, I'm changing the structure. I was having to work with people that were further along than me, and now I want more ownership. So the current deals that I'm looking at right now, there's only 4 of us. Okay. And we're only looking about $5 million deals. All right. And we're all doing equal ownership. I'm a huge pusher now for this after the experiences that I have had with different situations. You know, I have great partners, but I want more ownership, because if you're just coming in as a syndicator or a little tiny portion, you're only getting 0.5% or 1% of ownership. That doesn't help your net worth when you try to buy more assets. So me and my partners, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. I am mostly responsible for negotiations, acquisitions, touring, acquiring, due diligence, gaining the actual deal. Even though my partners are helping out with that, my other partner is responsible for property management, and she also does asset management because she's done it for 30 years and has had 10,000 units across the country. That is what she is getting. The other person is also part of marketing. So she helps train and be foot on the streets for marketing, okay? And then the other person is helping manage all of the funding. Even though it's part of asset management or whatnot, she also owns a brokerage. So she's good with, hey, we're bringing other people in to do this, and the mystery shopping. So they kind of split up the different parts of the operations, but we're all splitting the cash flow equally across the board and ownership across the board, unlike some partnerships that are nitpicking everything and there's no form of accountability and there's no clarity, because some operations feel, well, we signed on the debt, we acquired, you just raised money and did due diligence or market, and then you have people pointing fingers and some of the head operators getting paid property management acquisition fees, but then some of the people that weren't a part of that, or the investors, are upset because now they're not getting their money. You just got paid. Now the rest of the people are hung out to dry. So for us, we're not charging property management fees. There are no acquisition fees at close. We're solely acquiring, managing, value add, and everything is split directly from the middle from cash flow and ownership perspective. If I go down, we're all going down. If you're winning, I'm winning. I feel that's the way it should be.
Okay, we got a question about financing for the multifamily. Are they 30-year loans or are they DSCR loans?
I really only hear about DSCR loans right now. And so the loans depend on what the asset is and what your goal is. You need to know your exit strategy. So for example, when me and my partner toured a beautiful asset in the cultural side of Dallas, all around was $1 million homes, and it was really, really beautiful. But the asset was like in this little pocket, and there was Section 8 tenants, and it did not fit the HMI, which is like the median household, or I'm sorry, the AMI, like the annual median income for that area. We're all like multimillionaires, but everybody in this little pocket were all on Section 8, okay? And they still had a chiller and a boiler system. It was like this little pocket in front of all these multimillionaire areas. So when I worked with my debt guy, and I worked with a few people, but now I'm really dedicated to Clark Matthews. He's a phenomenal person. They advise, well, here, Brooke, if you want to do a bridge debt, this would be great because you can do this. And I'm not a finance person, you guys, I'm not a debt person, but it was based off that we had to do so much upfront work and remodeling that they were giving us, here's a bridge debt option, but for us to fund all of this, and then it goes and balloons up after a few years, or if you guys just want a 30-year loan, which this asset we were exiting at 3 to 5 years, okay? So it did not make sense to take on a 30-year fixed loan for stability, quote unquote, if I intended to leave it in 3 to 5 years. Had it been a asset or a B asset that was already cash flowing, and maybe it just needed 60, 80 grand, maybe not 100 grand of remodel, and I intended to keep it in my portfolio and never sell it, then yeah, I would do a 30-year because this is something that is a keeper. I'm not exiting this. So your debt is based off of your exit strategy, and that's what you need to look at it. And when you're underwriting, what kills all deals is your debt, taxes, and insurance. So do not buy or acquire anything without getting a debt quote, insurance, or knowing your taxes, okay? And again, goes back to your exit strategy. Lead with your exit and go back.
What do you think about focusing on 2 to 5 markets and working with 1 to 3 realtors in each market?
Okay, Noah. So pros and cons in this. I feel in the beginning, it is wise to work with multiple, and I'm not a real estate, I know you're working with realtors. I'm not a real estate agent, okay? But I work with brokers. So I'm going to put it in that aspect. It's good to work with multiple people in the same area when you're learning how things work. There's some brokers that are a-holes. There's some brokers that don't communicate well. There's some that are solely, and let's keep it real, they represent the seller, okay? They're not representing you as the buyer, okay? However, some are more honest than others. Some are more clear than others. When you find that person that lands with you and that you feel you can build long-term, I feel you should have one solid agent per market, okay? They know what you're looking for. They know your buy box. They see a deal come on like, damn, that's Steve's deal. That's Noah's deal. That's Brooke's deal. Hey, Brooke, I have this, blah, 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 right? However, when we started, I currently have assets in Texas and Florida, okay? That's it. But now knowing what I know, I am only focusing in Texas. DFW, Dallas, we have stuff in South Lake, and that's it. And I am currently only working with 2 people here because I just moved from California about 8 months ago to North Dallas to be more hands-on in my assets. And the brokers we use on my previous assets belonged to my previous partners. And now I feel I'm starting to build my own book of business because now I want more control. So when in the beginning, fine, do that. It's like you don't really have any loyalty and the word will get around. This is a very intimate business. A lot of people talk, a lot of people know each other. But once you find that person that lands with you and he's an ethical person to do business with, I say stick with them and the loyalty will be appreciated. And once you intend to sell, you should also work with that same broker.
Cool. We got a couple more questions, but Brooke, our time is up. And really appreciate you sharing, and thank you for joining.
It's so hot. I'm like, what the hell? I feel like did the heater turn on? Is it like in Dallas, you guys, in Texas? I understand the joke now. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. I was freezing earlier. Now it's hot. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'll
Sure.
answer more questions. I do have to take my daughter to work in about 15 minutes. So we're okay for right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So for those of you who love this class and want to join more Real Estate IQ events, we got one coming up on March 6th, same time. And it's about the correct and full ways of analyzing rentals. So make sure you register for this next upcoming class. And again, if you are listening right now, if you're watching our live streaming and you haven't registered, if you register for this event, you're gonna get a recording of this class. So make sure you register if you want to get access to the recording in the future. All right, Brooke, really good to have you, and look forward to chatting you again soon and having you back on our platform.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you thinking of me. Y'all gotta follow him. Steve is such a phenomenal human, and I'm grateful to have been connected with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, and have a great Thursday.
Bye, y'all.